a moment, a jolt, of who you really are when all the noise, fear, and doubt fall away. Because if you're here right now, listen to this as a part of you that knows you were meant for more. Not someday. Not when life gets easier. Not when everything lines up perfectly. Now, life doesn't wait. Your potential doesn't wait. Your dreams don't wait. Only you do. And I want you to feel this. You are standing at the edge of a decision that could alter the entire direction of your life. Not because of this platform, but because of the version of you that shows up when you finally stop hiding, stop negotiating, stop shrinking your power to fit inside the world you've outgrown. TRN is simply the doorway. You're the one who has to walk through it. Every breakthrough you've ever wanted, confidence, courage, clarity, purpose, they're not outside of you. They're inside, locked behind patterns you learned to survive, but no longer need to thrive. And when you connect to the right message, at the right moment, with absolute honesty and absolute hunger, everything can change in an instant. You and I both know there's a voice deep inside you that's been whispering for years. It's time. Time to rise. Time to choose. Time to reclaim the life you were meant to live before fear convinced you to play small. And if you can feel even a spark inside you right now, a spark of truth, a spark of hunger, a spark of possibility, then this is the moment to fan it into a fire. So I'm asking you, not casually, not lightly, but with every ounce of certainty I have, what if this is the moment your life shifts? What if this is the day you stop accepting limitations and start pursuing the life that sets your soul on fire? Because you are stronger than your past, you are bigger than your excuses, you are more powerful than the story that says you can't. And if you're ready, truly ready, then step forward with everything you've got. Your future isn't waiting for permission. It's waiting for you. Stepping into your true power begins with a moment of absolute honesty, a moment where you stop negotiating with your excuses and start recognizing the truth you've buried beneath layers of fear, doubt, and past experiences. Most people walk through life never accessing even a fraction of the power they already possess. Not because they lack ability, but because they've been conditioned by their environment, by their failures, by the opinions of others, to believe that power exists somewhere outside of them. But stepping into your true power is about remembering what was always there. It's about stripping away the noise long enough to hear that deeper voice inside you, the one that says you were built for more. It's waking up to the possibility that the limits you've accepted for years may have never been real in the first place. When you step into your power, you stop waiting for the world to validate you. You stop waiting for permission. You begin to understand that everything you've ever needed to transform your life, to create meaning, to build confidence, to rise after setbacks, has been inside of you, dormant but alive, waiting for the moment you decide to reclaim it. That decision is where everything shifts. Not the conditions, not the circumstances, not the people around you. The decision. The moment you choose to stop living as a smaller version of yourself, the moment you declare that your past no longer dictates your future, is the moment your true power begins to surface. True power isn't loud or forceful. It's certainty. It's the quiet, unshakable conviction that no matter what happens around you, you will respond with intelligence, courage, and resilience. It's the ability to influence your own emotions instead of being controlled by them. It's the strength to stay committed long after the excitement fades. It's the willingness to walk into discomfort because you know that growth never comes from the familiar. And that's the part most people resist. They want transformation without discomfort, breakthroughs without breakdowns, clarity without chaos. But stepping into your power requires that you lean into those moments instead of running from them. It requires that you face the parts of yourself you've avoided, the fears you've hidden, the stories you've repeated to justify staying exactly where you are. Power grows in the moments when you choose courage over comfort, action over hesitation, truth over convenience. To step into your true power You have to take full responsibility for your life. Not blame, not guilt, but responsibility. Responsibility is liberation. It frees you from waiting. It frees you from the illusion that someone else is coming to save you. It reminds you that you are the source of your own breakthroughs. The moment you stop pointing outward and begin looking inward is the moment you regain control. It's where your influence expands. It's where your life starts to move in direction of your choosing, not just in reaction to the world. That's where your power lies, in the choices you make, when no one is watching, in the discipline you build, when nobody is applauding, in the decisions you commit to, even when doubt whispers in your ear. Stepping into your power also means confronting the contradictions within yourself, the part of you that dreams big and the part that fears failing, the part of you that craves growth, and the part that clings to comfort, the part of you that knows what's possible, and the part that's been wounded by what's past. Power emerges when you stop letting these contradictions pull you apart and instead use them as fuel. You acknowledge the fear but move anyway. You recognize the uncertainty but act with intention. You notice the doubt but refuse to let it sit in the driver's seat. Power isn't the absence of fear, it's mastery over the influence fear has on your actions. And stepping into your true power means raising your standards. Not your goals, your standards. Because your life is shaped not by what you want, but by what you consistently accept, practice, tolerate, and expect from yourself. When your standards rise, your identity rises with them. You start showing up differently, thinking differently, choosing differently. Without forcing anything, you begin attracting different results because the foundation making a decisive life changing choice begins long before the moment you finally say yes. It begins in the quiet tension between the life you're living and the life you know you're capable of living. Most people feel that tension every single day, yet they ignore it, suppress it, rationalize it, or drown it out with distractions. But that tension is not a burden, it is a signal. It is life tapping you on the shoulder, asking if you're finally ready to stop repeating your patterns and start stepping into a version of yourself that has been waiting far too long. A decisive choice is not born out of convenience. It's born out of clarity, and clarity often arrives through discomfort. The discomfort of staying the same. The discomfort of knowing that if nothing changes, nothing changes. A life-changing choice requires more than desire. It requires a moment of truth, a moment where you stop lying to yourself about why you haven't moved forward, a moment where you stop rehearsing the same excuses that keep you trapped, a moment where you realize that hesitation is draining more of your life than any failure ever could. People fear making big decisions because they believe the risk is in choosing. But the real risk is in not choosing at all. Indecision is the silent thief of dreams. It gives you the illusion of safety while it quietly steals your time, your confidence, and your potential. Every time you hesitate, you reinforce the belief that you're not ready. Every time you delay, you strengthen the identity that says you're someone who waits instead of acts. A decisive choice demands emotional commitment. It's not something you dip your toe into. It's something you step into with certainty, even if that certainty feels foreign at first. You don't wait for confidence to show up before you choose. You choose, and the confidence comes because you finally gave yourself something to believe in. Clarity is not something you get ahead of time. It's something that grows as you start moving. One of the biggest misunderstandings people have is believing that they need to feel fully prepared before making a life-changing decision. But preparation is a trap when it becomes a mask for avoiding action. You grow into the person your decision requires. Power doesn't come from knowing the entire path. It comes from taking the first step with absolute conviction. The reason decisive choices are rare is because they require you to break emotional patterns that have protected you for years. Patterns of avoiding discomfort, patterns of playing small, the patterns of settling for whatever feels familiar. The familiar becomes seductive because it feels safe even when it's slowly suffocating your potential. A life-changing choice is an interruption to that pattern. It is a declaration that your life will no longer be governed by fear disguised as logic. It is the moment where you stop letting your past dictate your identity and start creating a new story based on who you want to become. You don't need guarantees. You need courage. Courage creates movement, and movement creates momentum, and momentum becomes transformation. When you make a decisive choice, the world around you doesn't instantly shift, but your internal world does. Something in you reorganizes, your energy rises, your focus sharpens, your standards elevate. You begin to think differently because the act of choosing reshapes your identity. You move from I hope to I will, from I'm trying to I'm committed, from maybe someday to this begins now. This identity shift is what makes the choice life changing. Once you decide who you are, your actions, habits, decisions, and results align with that identity. The choice becomes a cornerstone, a point of no return where the old version of you no longer fits. But to make a life-changing choice, you must confront the internal conflict between the life that feels comfortable and the life that feels meaningful. Comfort whispers to you that you have time, that you can start later. That staying still is safer than stepping forward. Meaning whispers the opposite, that you are wasting precious moments trying to avoid the very experiences that would unlock your potential. A decisive choice comes when you stop giving more weight to the voice of fear than to the voice of possibility. When you realize that regret will cost you far more than failure ever will. When you understand that the pain of staying the same will eventually become heavier than the pain of changing. A life-changing choice doesn't wait for perfect timing because timing is a myth people use to justify their hesitation. The right moment is the moment you decide it is. The moment you choose to stop negotiating with your circumstances and start leading your life instead of reacting to it. And once you make that decision, something extraordinary happens. Your mind shifts from limitation to strategy, from doubt to determination, from avoidance to purpose. You stop asking, can I do this? And start asking, what needs to happen for me to make this real? That shift alone redirects the trajectory of your entire life.